Hello, and welcome to the December meeting of the Top Shelf Society. Today I am here with the Peeps, and we are talking about Christmas Days by Janette Winterson. And the next book that we'll be reading is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. So exciting times. Do we want to introduce ourselves?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. My name is Kristen. My channel is Perks of a Bookflower. You're here. Hi. And I sometimes post videos on the internet, but not often. So.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I read with my cat. Oh yeah, and my YouTube channel is Sarah's Reading Nook.
And I'm Laura, and my YouTube channel is Laura Reads Pages, and I have big plans for the new year. Big ambitions for the new year. We'll see. I don't know. Well, I just nothing concrete, but and also I want to preface that I have not quite finished our book for today. So I took a good crack at it, and I will probably finish later this afternoon. But yes, that's me.
I'm Angela, and my channel is Angela Rose Reads. And sorry if I look like a stop motion because my Wi-Fi is lagging. I would love to read with my cats, but they're a little more antisocial than Olivia is, so I just read on my own.
Yeah, so getting started with Christmas Days, this book is a little bit different from all the other books we've read so far because it is a collection of short stories. And so before we get started talking about like short stories in general, I was just kind of wondering or about the book in general. I wanted to talk about short stories. Like, do you guys normally read them? How does that go for you?
Honestly, most of the short stories I've read, I had to read in school or at university. And I do really enjoy short stories, but it's just something that I don't pick up very often.
What about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I honestly don't really read short stories very much. Like I love poetry books, and like each poem is kind of its own little thing and can be a totally different feel and vibe as like another poem. But yeah, I would agree with Laura. I don't really remember reading too many except for the ones that I had to read in school.
Yeah. Angela, anything else to add or kind of the same thing?
It's kind of the same. I thought that I read more short stories because I tend to like them, but for some reason, the only ones I can remember are fairy tales. So I'm like, maybe I don't read that many.
Yeah, they seem to be a lot bigger of a thing, like back when people were getting like newspapers and journals a lot of the time. Like
that
just
makes
because,
sense.
yeah, because they could be like read in like one sitting. And I don't consider myself a person who reads short stories either. Like I have a very similar experience to Sarah and Laura, but I feel like I could be open to it.
Yeah, I think like around Christmas time there's a lot of good Christmas themed short story collections, and then I also find there's a lot of good like horror or like ghost story kind of short story collections as well. So depending on what you're into, I think you can find a lot to suit your tastes or whatever.
Yeah, and like I feel like novellas are getting more popular nowadays. Like people want to just read like something shorter. And I feel like if novellas are getting more popular, like why shouldn't short story collections as well?
Here's something though, I find I won't read one-off short stories because I can't put it on my Goodreads list and add it to my total, which is so stupid. That shouldn't matter, you know? But like, oh my God, I can't count this towards my reading total. So I'm not gonna read it. Which I will try not to do in the future. I had at the beginning, I read a short story at the beginning of the year because it was bound in one book, so I could count it towards my reading total. But yeah, I'm hoping not to be so wrapped up in that. Anyway, I think I interrupted someone. Maybe Sarah, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay, well, that's our history with reading short stories in general. One thing we've started to do that's so weird is we compare each book to a food or beverage or whatever. So what should it be for this one? Something Christmas, of course.
Stuffing?
Okay.
I don't know. It's my favorite of the Christmas foods. And it's warm and yeah.
Okay. Stuffing, maybe eggnog, candy cane.
There were a lot of recipes. Like that was kind of the thing that there's 12 it was like 12 recipes and 12 stories. So there's a lot of recipes to choose from.
Yeah, they what did they have? They had custard, they had pickled red cabbage. They had there's a lot of different foods.
Well, stuffing it is. It's kind of festive and warm, so. All right, so I thought to begin, I'll give a little synopsis for everyone. And let's just pull this up really quick. Pertaining to sci-fi, they annually have released anthologies of short stories. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Anthologies are great because you can discover so many different authors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to read the yearly anthologies they'll do for like the best poetry of the year. Like I love those. But once again, I never think of looking at short story anthologies. The only time I did, I had to read. I took a class on writing short stories, and we had to read like short story anthology, which was fun. What was I saying?
You were gonna summarize.
I was gonna.
You're gonna give a summary.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Christmas Days by Janette Winterson is just 12 Christmas-ish stories to warm your heart and soul or freak you out a little bit and definitely get you in the Christmas festive vibe. And at the end of each story, there's a recipe that accompanies it, kind of goes alongside with it, but not really. But they're just there to give you something to cook. And they range from like children's stories almost, like to ghost stories, to Victorian, I don't know, horror almost stories. Like they're all, maybe not horror, but Victorian ghost story, really interesting tales. So
some of them are like memoirs too, aren't they? They're just her remembering something from her past.
Yeah. So do you guys want to jump into maybe which one was your favorite of the stories?
Okay. I read the first one and I really thought that was a good one. It kind of made me tear up a little bit at the end. And so that one was my favorite. And then I read the next few and I was like, what happened? And so I DNF'd it.
Oh.
Don't worry, Angela. I haven't finished it yet. Well, I probably will finish it, but I haven't finished it either.
I kept trying and trying, but I was like, it was so strange because like the first one I really enjoyed, and then I was like, this is very strange. And like you said, like the one with like the Victorian murder stuff and everything, I was like, this isn't very Christmassy to me. So I didn't want to like use Christmas to read something that I was like, So I prefaced by saying I DNF'd it, but I enjoyed the first one, and it like that one really put me like in a nice little mood. It was very sweet and cute, and like I liked the ending. So
what was the first one about again? I forget.
The couple who were driving the car. Okay. It was very strange. Like it was like you said, like, all kind of odd. Like it was very strange, but like Christmas ghost stories and Christmas things can be strange, so I kind of was able to suspend my disbelief on that. And like the girl who was the spirit of Christmas and everything. And ultimately it was just really cute because like, you know, the couple was married for a really long time, and they, I guess, were kind of drifting apart, it seemed like, but they both loved each other, but they were letting other things get in the way. And then like by the end, she was like, oh, you're the one thing I don't want to lose. And it was so sweet. So like that got me a little teared up. So I liked the first one.
Yeah, that one was good.
I feel like that's the thing with short story collections is that, like if you start reading a novel and you're enjoying the first few chapters, you're probably going to enjoy through your experience of reading the novel. But short stories can be so different. So there's one that you're very into, and then the next one you're you're struggling to get through. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to choose a favorite because I haven't finished reading it. I also enjoyed the first one. I actually liked the ghost story one as well. And I think some people, I didn't know this, but I think some people associate ghost stories with not necessarily Christmas, but I guess A Christmas Carol is kind of a ghost story. But anyway, yeah, and then I also liked some of the memoir ones, like the one with the older author used to have her over for Christmas dinner. And yeah, I just kind of liked those were gentle and easy reading.
So interesting story. Little side note to what you just said about ghost stories. I read A Christmas Carol and another book that was like describing Victorian Christmases and then like the beginning of Christmas and all that. And the author wrote that it's an idea that potentially ghost stories became such a big thing in that time because of the gas lamps, and it was emitting like carbon monoxide, and people were like getting dizzy off of it and like hallucinating. And so people became like obsessed with ghosts because they thought they saw ghosts everywhere. I don't know how true that is, but that's what the author
says that in this book, doesn't she? She talks about that in this book. Yeah. So that I've heard that as well. But I think she mentions it. I don't know. Yeah, about like the fume from.
So strange to think about, but I mean,
it kind of makes sense, like that time of year with the fog and everything. Sorry, Sarah, go ahead.
I just think that's when they're active.
Sarah.
Hey, Christmas.
You do kind of associate ghost stories with winter, though, I think. Like a lot of illustrations and ghost stories, you never see like a full summer, like full foliage, and then like ghosts lurking around. It's always like the skeletons of trees and like bare ground and everything.
Yeah, I guess that explains it. Sarah, did you have a favorite?
So I kind of feel similarly as Angela about the book, but I did I think the introduction.
Oh yeah, I like that too.
I like the introduction and sort of yeah, and then close to the end, she sort of talked a little bit about like Christmas Day and sort of the tradition behind it and like snow and like all of those sorts of things. But yeah.
Well, I think that we already know how our predictions, maybe we forgot to do predictions, but I feel like it's going to be pretty easy to predict who this was a top shelf read for.
Well, Sarah abandoned me.
I am sorry about that.
Me, she was like, I think I might DNF it. And I was like, oh, good. You just gave me permission to DNF it. And then the next day she messaged me and was like, oh, I read more. I was like, oh, now I'm going to be the only Scrooge here in the group.
I'm sorry. I read more because I wanted to I wanted to give a more complete holistic feeling of the book. And I'm sorry, I abandoned you. I told my partner that I did, and he was shocked and he couldn't believe me. And he basically told me that I am the cause of such drama in your life, Angela. And yeah.
No, I feel the same way. I might try to skim through them again, but mine's a library book, so it has to get back soon. So yeah, but I did think the intro was so good.
Yeah, I did too.
Like the historical facts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like that aspect.
Well, I loved so many of the stories that it's really hard for me to pick one that is a favorite, which I know, like, super unpopular opinion here. But I think my favorite was The Mistletoe Bride, which was that one, the Victorian one.
Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. I was like doing laundry and I just remember I had to stop and like just stare at my phone like, is this really what's happening right now? Like I loved it. It was so creepy and
It was very
up.
creepy. Yeah.
Well, can you tell me which ones I should go back and read before I return it to the library? So Mistletoe Bride.
Yeah.
Do you have any other ones that you think I definitely should check out?
Let me pull up the names of the stories because there's one, this guy who's in a hotel and there's this Christmas tree that shows up in his house and this lady makes it for him. I really liked that one. But I mean,
the one in New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was interesting. I think, Angela, I think you would like The Mistletoe Bride.
I wrote that one down.
Yeah. And when I was looking too at like the Goodreads ratings, a lot of people said that was their favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. But like they preface it and say like, this is a creepy story. So that's why I think you would like it.
My second favorite, okay, Snow Mama, was so sweet and so heartwarming. It was amazing. I loved that one. They build a snowman and it like, she comes to life and she like makes this big difference in this kid's life and it's just like beautiful. I don't know if you would like that one, but I definitely did.
I guess that one, some of them were very definitely children's, like kind of felt like had a children's lip feel to them. And I feel that one definitely did. Yeah.
It was kind of interesting that some of them felt like kind of like Christmas and like so like warm-hearted. And then there was one where I was like, oh my gosh, this is like graphic content, like right in like the next story. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, am I like reading this right now? I forget which one it was, but I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think that's what threw me off too, is that like I had to go back and make sure that this was all the same person because I thought that it was an anthology at some point because I was like, these are so different. And like even the writing and some of the choices were kind of odd. And I was like, wait, this is all the same person? Yeah, it's very, very different.
Yeah, some were like drastically different. But I did like sort of like the memoir parts where she even talked about being so like solitary and away from others so that she could like write in an area where time seemed to not really matter and where she could be away from like other influences and just like sit down and write.
Yeah, I really like the memoir parts as well. And I sort of thought it was going to be more of that. Because I don't know if I've read any other Janette Winterson, but the reason that I am aware of her is because she wrote like the prelude to a book that I read a couple of years ago that was like a nature writing kind of thing. And I was like, wow, it was just like, 10 pages or something of the introduction. And that was her experience reading this nature writing book. And I really, really liked it. So I think I like her as a nonfiction writer. Not that I didn't like her fiction stories as well, but I especially liked the nonfiction ones, and I liked the introduction as well.
It's just so like funny to me, I guess, like being reminded of how subjective like reading really can be, because totally. like for me, like this book was wonderful and charming and put me in the Christmas spirit, and like I loved it so much, and you guys were just kind of like nah, and it's like that's really encouraging, like as a person who writes too, like everything, it just hits differently to different people. So
I also think that maybe you oh sorry,
it's okay.
I think that you sort of read short stories differently than you would novels. Like I think and I think the way that if I had not left this till the last minute and like picked up and read one story a day throughout the lead up to Christmas, I think it would have really like been a nice mood, and it would have been interesting to see the really different stories and be like, oh, what am I in for today, you know? And so I wish I had been organized enough to read it like that.
Yeah, well, I guess, should we go ahead and discuss, is this a top shelf read? I feel like we may have discussed all of the details of this. It's going to be maybe one of our shorter live shows, but I was wondering if maybe after we say our ratings, if we could do like a little yearly like wrap up, maybe say like our favorite book we read for top
That'd
shelf
be
this
great.
year. Yeah, okay.
And
Good.
also Sarah and I were talking about how like, you know how she has all these like recipes and Christmas stuff?
Yeah.
Like maybe if we wanted to talk about Christmas and like if we have any foods or traditions that we all do, that might be kind of fun.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know everyone is just biting their fingernails in anticipation for this. I'll go first. I think this is a top shelf book. I know. I think that Janette Winterson is an incredible writer, and I just felt like every story that she wrote, even like a couple that weren't like my favorite, like the one she put near the ends, like they were still like really engaging. I think that she has like a huge range as a writer, from writing these like cheerful, joyful children's stories to like these really dark, like emotional stories. And I feel like this book like embodies Christmas and all of the different ways it can affect people, and it put me in like a really great Christmas mood, and the writing I just felt was exceptional. And yeah, it was top shelf for me. I feel like when it comes to short story collections, like something like this is exactly what I'm looking for.
Yay.
You know.
Sarah, do you want to go next? We can go around. I don't know if you're all in the same order on the screen as I see.
Okay. I'm gonna try and be like as okay. So this was not top shelf read for me. I would rate it similarly as Emma.
Oh no.
None of the stories stuck with me. I wasn't really engaged in them. I wasn't very interested in them, and I initially I did try to read it like one kind of story and one kind of like piece like per day and kind of going through it, but it was just like I don't know. I like not like it was just I didn't mesh with the book at all, except for like the introduction and some of the like memoir sort of like tidbits. The recipes, like I wasn't really a fan of the recipes, or like I thought it was kind of charming sometimes, like how she wrote her recipes and how they were like very different from what you would get like from a normal sort of recipe book, and she added like a lot of like character to them and that sort of thing. But yeah, it was very, very, very hard for me to finish this book. So yeah, that's just how I felt about it. But I did push through. I did push through the book. So yeah.
I'm not gonna actually say because I haven't finished it. So I don't know if it'd be fair, but I think like as I'm going, it probably won't be top shelf, but I don't dislike the book. I think it's nice Christmas stories, but it's probably not something that I would come back to again so far, though I still have a good amount to read. So, yeah.
I completely agree with Sarah about the recipes being like charming and having a lot of character, but it was also stuff that I would never make. Like I don't pickle things or have any of those abilities to make any of it. Yeah, since I didn't finish it, I can't say for sure, but I would imagine not. I think what threw me off the most is that So first of all, I had just come off of reading A Christmas Carol for one of the first times I can
Oh
ever
God.
remember. So you can't like that's kind of like my fault. You can't go from almost like I know I read it when I was younger, but I don't remember it. So going from reading Dickens and having that as my Christmas book mindset, when I read the intro and the first book, I was like, oh, I was so excited for it because it was so sweet and it was like a different vibe for Christmas. And I thought that I also agree with Laura that the nonfiction writing was so good. I thought the intro, just like the way they write, I really enjoyed it. And I think like that's what threw me off so much when I continued. The recipes, the stories like weren't really for me. And then the stories kind of got like, I just felt a lot of the choices were very odd. Like, and so for me, like it was kind of taking me almost out of the Christmas spirit because I was kind of like forcing myself to go through and try to find a story that would resonate with me. And I was like kind of getting sad because I was like, I had so much hope and then the other ones weren't resonating. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to definitely be better about DNFing things because like you were saying, all books have an audience. You just like you're the audience. You have to fill in the person. So I'm trying not to feel guilty about like putting down a book if it's not like, you know, connecting with you. So it's not a reflection on the book or the author. It's just a different audience member. So yeah. So I thought that it was good. And I'm going to go back and read The Mistletoe Bride for sure. Cause I'm sure there are other good ones because I enjoyed the first one. It was just, I was like, okay, it's making me sad now. So I didn't want to keep going.
Oh, well, that's okay. It's not the first time that this has happened. In fact, our very first live show, it was only me and Laura, I think, who liked the book. So this time it's just me.
No, Emma liked it. Top shelf for me.
Oh,
yeah, Emma was a top shelf for sure. And so, like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it might be a first then that I'm the only one who likes one, but that's okay. You know, different strokes for different folks.
And I liked it. It just wasn't top shelf.
Yeah. Okay.
I just got the movie recently. The new one, I bought it because I keep wanting to watch it and it's not on anything. And so I finally bought Emma, the new movie, and it's really
good. Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah. Kristen does not like that movie.
Don't. No.
Everybody has, exactly. This is just pure proof. Everybody has different tastes and different.
Yeah. It's definitely it's definitely. I don't know if you've seen the mini series Emma. It's definitely a different vibe from that. Have you seen that, Kristen? Then maybe you might like that one better.
No, yeah, I probably would because my thing was it felt like they were almost making fun of the book to me in the movie, and I don't know, I just didn't like that.
Yeah, try the mini series.
I would like it.
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Sarah, you probably would like it.
I'm like, maybe I would like it. No, my favorite Emma movie is Clueless.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think anything can top Clueless.
I think I like the one with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to move on to talking about we can go in different ways. So we can talk about like our favorite Christmas tradition, or we can talk about our favorite top shelf book that we read in 2021.
I'd like to do both at some point. I don't care which one we start with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do why don't we do Christmas and then New Year's? So favorite Christmas tradition.
My family, we didn't do it this year, which was disappointing, but we usually have a table decorating competition. So a table decorating. So everyone draws in the evening. So either Christmas Eve, Christmas breakfast, Christmas dinner, or New Year's maybe. I don't know what the fourth one is. And then we have to decorate one of the tables, and then we send pictures to my dad's side of the family and to my mom's side of the family, and each side picks a winner.
That's
cute. I went very all out. One year I made my own Christmas crackers. One year I knitted little ornaments for everyone. I put a lot of effort into these people
Did you
decorating
win?
competitions. I've never full out won. Sometimes like one side of the family voted for me, but I've never like definitively won, which just makes me want to go bigger and better. But we didn't do it this year, I think, just because like our plans changed because of COVID and stuff, and we had like a smaller Christmas. So yeah.
I don't really have a lot of traditions, but
Or recipes or something.
Yeah. So food related, I made a Yule log for the first time this year. That was a journey. I tried a lot of there's a lot of like new techniques involved into making it that I got.
Is that the jelly roll? Like,
it's not jelly, it's like cream. It looks like a giant long Swiss roll, basically.
Yeah.
I'd always seen it because I love my holiday tradition is watching Holiday Baking Championship.
Yes!
That's like my favorite part of the holidays.
Yes.
And there's always like a Yule log for the most part. And so I was like, let's try it this year, and it worked out. And so that was fun, but I don't know if they have these in Canada. Do you have honey baked ham? The store, like the company?
I don't think so. No,
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, the honey baked ham company. It's when I was young, my grandfather used to always have us go to the store and buy a giant honey baked ham and bring it home, and like that was fabulous. They're a lot. They're almost like $80. It's a lot.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
I found like a copycat recipe that I might try sometime because that's expensive. But it's
Sounds
so
delicious though.
Yeah, it's so good though because it's just like for Christmas, you know?
Yeah. I'll go next since my traditions or whatever seem very similar to Angela's. So for me, the holidays are about two things. First and foremost, family, and second, baking, all of the baking.
Yeah.
So I try to make like Christmas cookies, boxes for my family, or whatever I feel like I'm in the mood for. And this year we just did like traditional sugar cookies, and then me and my family like had like a sugar cookie decorating contest.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was really fun. And last year I made like 10 different types of cookies over like 2 days of baking nonstop, and it was really, really fun. But I just didn't have the energy for that this year.
Yeah.
And so
I can imagine.
I like to watch Great British Bake Off or Holiday Baking Championship. And I like to watch Elf with my mom while we decorate the Christmas tree. And and on Christmas Day, we always have Christmas breakfast at my mom's house. And it's like all the family having breakfast and opening presents.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
So that's funny. So our Christmas movie that we watch every year when we put up the tree is Jim Carrey Grinch.
Okay.
Is yours Elf? Do you have movies that you watch every year when you put up the tree?
I like It's a Wonderful Life.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
What? We didn't watch it when I was really young, but I think as a teenager we started watching it. And then we did from really young watch the old Miracle on 34th Street, and then I like Charlie Brown as well.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
Have any of you ever watched Christmas Vacation?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The older I get, the more
times.
annoyed I get.
It's so stressful, but so true a lot of times.
I watched that movie like a billion times.
Yeah.
And counting.
Do you know A Christmas Story, the movie?
Yeah.
The one with the lamp. I love that one as well.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen Klaus on Netflix? I highly recommend watching Klaus. It will make you laugh your head off and cry your brains out. Oh my gosh. And it's so funny. Like it's genuinely good. So it's not too late. There's still time to watch it. Christmas is Klaus, Klaus on Netflix. Oh, it's so good. It's so sad, but so funny, and just like it's the first Christmas movie that's new that I've seen in a while that I actually like thought it would now be a new classic. Like, I'm like, yeah, this one is actually.
So Klaus on Netflix?
Yeah, Klaus. It's animated and it's just, it's so funny, but then like there's so much heart to it, and when you like, oof, it's good.
I have so many like Christmas traditions. Like I have no idea where to start. Like my family is Portuguese and like my parents like owned a bakery. So like since I was like 6 or 7, I've just been like baking. So we bake everything. Gingerbread, stollen, like a bunch of like Christmas, like Portuguese Christmas like goodies, everything, gingerbread houses, like the limit does not exist.
Is it
I was a very happy, like chubby child.
Do you have recipes that are vegan for all of those?
I can veganize like anything.
Wow.
Like yeah, all you gotta do is use like margarine instead of butter. You can use aquafaba. For a binder, I like flaxseed and water, and that is just like an egg. And you can find vegan products for like everything. So I can, if you give me a recipe, I can make it vegan.
Might have to message you later because.
And you know what? Like one year, I remember going to visit my dad, and like I gave my dad a like it was a ginger snap cookie from like one of the bakeries that's in town, and I gave it to him, and like he could not believe that it wasn't vegan, and he was like, "This is like one of the best cookies I've ever had," and I was like, oh my gosh, Dad, you need to like open your mind to the world of vegan baking because it is fire. It is great. And yeah, so we do all that. For the Christmas tree, I like to listen to Charlie Brown's Christmas. Like their like audio. So I just like find it on YouTube and I play it. And then I just like decorate like the Christmas tree, and I don't know, Christmas movies, everything. Like, again, the limit does not exist. Like, It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorites. Obviously, A Christmas Carol, like the old one, like the newer ones, the Muppet ones, everything. It just depends what kind of mood you're like in. And actually, I think I might start a new Christmas book tradition. I always read A Christmas Carol, and I'm late on it this year, but I will read it. But I am reading J.R. Tolkien. Is it J.R. Tolkien?
J.R.R. Tolkien?
J.R.R. He's kind of famous. Wrote a little series you may have heard of. But he has there's this book, and he has like all of the letters that he wrote for like his children over a period of like 20 years or something. And it's just like his Christmas letters, and he like would draw on them and illustrate them like so beautifully, and I couldn't believe that he like drew them. So in the book you sort of see like the handwritten letter, and then like beside it is just the text of it, because his writing was a little bit difficult to read at times. Like it's shaky when he's writing as Santa Claus because he's so cold in the North Pole and stuff. And it's just the cutest little thing. And he even like makes up a language very briefly, but I was like, this guy is so brilliant. He's onto something. I think he's a pretty good writer.
I've seen that before. I'll have to read that as well.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
I'm pretty sure Frederick Bachman has a short Christmas story too that I want to read. I just know the cover is like a giant Christmas tree on it, or a tree in the snow. And Bachman is such a good writer too.
Yes, he's wonderful. He's on a lot of the books I want to read in 2022.
I'm about to reread A Man Called Ove, because that one, like, and I watched the movie. It's like the Swedish movie of it, and like that one like snuck up on me this year. Like I didn't expect it to be, because like I thought I was gonna get annoyed at like, you know, the grouchy old man character. I was just gonna like, oh my God, can you get over it? Like I was gonna be annoyed, but then like I think it's his wife that really got to me, you know. His wife was like wonderful and all that stuff. And like I don't know, I just like that movie just like or not movie, the book really like surprised me. So now I'm like ready to reread it already. I might like start 2022 with a reread, but
yeah, that one goes up there with like one of my favorites of all time. Yeah, so good. Okay, well, speaking of books that we have loved, I'm going to go through and just give us all a reminder of the books that we've read and talked about this year. And then we're going to have to decide on the spot which one was our favorite, which one stuck out to us the most. So.
Oh, dear.
Yep, good luck.
What's a tie?
You're looking for the top of the top shelf books, okay?
Oh my God. Okay.
I had to go get paper so that I could jot things down.
So in January, we read The Song of Achilles. In February, Get a Life, Chloe Brown.
Wow, we started with Achilles. Wow, that was a good one. Just like a year.
Then in March, it looks like we read The Midnight Library. Does that sound right? April, I have Clara and the Sun. May, The Four Winds. June, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. July, The Firekeeper's Daughter. August was The Maidens. September was, that's the one Sarah hosted on her channel, I think.
Yeah. Chosen and the Beautiful.
Oh, The Chosen and the Beautiful. Okay. October was The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina. And November was The Secret History.
Ooh.
This is not hard for me.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I haven't read The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina yet, and I've been told that I'll probably really like it. So that one I can't include.
Yeah. And I DNF'd The Chosen and the Beautiful, so.
Whew, that's my favorite. That's mine.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was tied between that and The Firekeeper's Daughter for me. Those two were like top shelf. But if I had to pick, like I think I'm a big fan of like flowery writing and stuff. So for me, the writing of Nevo, like I have to say The Chosen the Beautiful is my top shelf of the whole year. And that's you DNF'd it. So see, it's like that's what happened.
Yeah.
Totally subjective.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have difficulty choosing here, I think.
Okay.
I've started a lot of them. Yeah.
What do you think? I'll go ahead and say mine because it's obvious. Well, I don't have to think about it. My favorite was The Song of Achilles. I just thought that I will never forget that book. It was beautifully written, and it was also like deeply moving. I still think about it a lot, and I think that it's one of the most beautiful love stories I've ever read. It's tragic and it's wonderful, and it was the best of the year. We started off strong in January, so I hope that it'll be the same this year.
I'm going to also say Song of Achilles because I actually read it twice this year. I read it in January and then I read it in November as well. Unplanned. I just was like feeling sad, so I picked it up and then I ended up reading the whole thing. But I also really, really liked Secret History, Clara and the Sun, and The Midnight Library, and honorable mention to Firekeeper's Daughter and Roger Ackroyd. So there's a lot of them that I liked. But yeah, I'm going to say Song of Achilles as well.
Okay. So this is like unbelievable to me. So going through the year, like I had so many books that like I really, really, really liked after reading it. Firekeeper's Daughter is one of them. I wanted to read it again immediately after I finished it. The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina, Clara and the Sun. But at the time, The Song of Achilles was not a top shelf read. And I'm finishing the year looking back on all of the books, and that was like my favorite book. So I don't get it. Like, and that was a book that I like, it was so funny. For Christmas, uh, I am at my partner's, like at his mom's house. And so there's like 8 like people here right now. And his sister is here and she's like a pretty avid reader. And I got her special editions of 2 books. One was Dune, and then I came here and she's reading Dune, which was hilarious. But this is a special edition of it. And the other book was The Song of Achilles. So I got her the special edition, like alternate cover. It's just like a black cover at Indigo, which is like our Barnes and Noble, basically. And like I gave it to her, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I think it might be this one is my favorite, like out of everything. But I don't know, Firekeeper's Daughter, Clara and the Sun, and The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina are pretty are like way up there as well. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that we all love that book so much.
I was gonna say that would probably be my number 3. So like I would say Chosen the Beautiful, Firekeeper's Daughter, and then Song of Achilles. So Song of Achilles was like a winner basically across the board. And did you hear she's writing a Persephone?
I did not know that.
She's writing a Persephone book now. She was writing something else, and then she was like, I can't, this one just captured me. I have to write it. So she's currently doing that.
Oh my gosh.
The thing is that after I read it, like we had our meeting the next day, and I was immediately like just so angry about like just one part of the book that has to do with anatomy and how she ended it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with it. And then I like watched an interview and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I get why you ended on that note. I want to read more by her. Like Circe is one of the most beautiful books as well that like I've ever read.
Yeah, I love her so much. I love watching her interviews too. She's great.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we all like Firekeeper's Daughter too, it sounds like.
Yeah, I really love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably like number 2 or 3.
Although Stephanie's not here today, so I'm curious what her answers would be.
I know, me too.
Yeah, we need to message her.
Like, what is your favorite book of the year for Top Shelf?
So, Spinning Silver, is that a fantasy book?
I believe so.
I think it's partly like a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, sort of vibes. Like, yeah.
That sounds awesome.
That's what I heard.
I don't know why it just like gives me January vibes. Like I feel like whoever chose that, like that's perfect for January.
No,
there's a cover. There's a couple of different covers as well for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, I guess we're ready to go ahead and end it here. So for anyone who's watching now or watching on the repeat, thanks for joining us. And thank you for another year of the Top Shelf Society. We have been doing this for, I don't even know how long now, going on 2 years, like year and a half.
Yeah, I think about a year and a half, or even like we started it in May of 2020.
2020.
Yeah, May 2020 is when we started. Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's been nice how you guys did it, where like we can vote for months in advance so that like everyone can vote too, and we can all like we can prepare in advance. I like that. So that's been fun because now we know, okay, Spinning Silver, the Beautiful Ones, I think is next after that.
Yeah.
Or
Sarah, what? So, oh my gosh, what is her name? Sylvia Moreno Garcia. There we go.
Yeah. Well, that's been nice.
Yeah. Do we have the live show days picked out for that one?
Yeah.
We do. Okay.
Yeah, we do. I can tell you what the live show for the next one is. So the live show for Spinning Silver is January 30th. Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then for the Beautiful Ones, February 27th, Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like the afternoon time. I feel like that's good for lots of different people. So
I agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in the next one.
In the new year.